Yo, okay, so look, check out the screen right there, right? So I have some words up there, exploring minds, right? You know, and then if you look right here, it says by Tika Thornton, Gorilla Pimps versus Romeo Pimps, man. Okay, so the reason why I have that up is because, look, check this out. You see this? You know, I wrote some words down, right? So I'm going to read these words real quick, right? Because, you know, this is just what it's all about. Then I'm going to do a tab flow and a tab show based off of this right here. Ready? Here we go. Hi, God. Thanks for the shine. Seriously. Okay. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That's a fact, man. That's from Genesis 1:1. Right? Quest, bit, script, word, go, show, flow. Ready? Mind control, aka brainwash. Here's a point. People can be trained how to think. That's a fact, right? Example. Pimps can get a woman or a man to trade their body for money. That's a fact. Example. A story can get a man to not talk with his father for 17 years. That's another fact. Okay. Another example. Emotions can get people to cover their spirit and put a substance into God's temple. That's another fact. Then I have this. Question. How do people protect God's body? Answer. Follow God's words, man. All right. And then the words we have are Matthew 6:2-4. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Right. That's from King James, right, man? So this is what I wrote on this piece of paper right here, which helped me put this together right here, right? Because now I want to show those words that I just read in fact form, man. You know, so check this out. I'm gonna play some of this right here, right? So this is gonna be a little bit, right? So this is fair game, you know, because this is all about education, man. So I'm just gonna educate right now. Ready? Here we go. Check this out.
Well, Lena was telling us that there were essentially two kinds of pimps. Mm-hmm. There were the gorilla pimps, yes, which are the ones that are forceful, yes, violent, probably what most people think of. Mm-hmm. And then there were the Romeo pimps.
Yes, and me personally, my own personal opinion, I think the Romeo pimps are way more dangerous. The gorilla pimps, once you get beat up so many times, you're like, okay, I'm done. There's really no emotional attachment, even though there is that Stockholm syndrome where people start to care about their captors. Where Romeo pimps, these girls are in love.
It's like an emotional abuse as well, in addition to physical.
Yes, and it's hard for them to get away because the guy can just say something sweet to them and they're like, you know what, I love him, I'm going back. You know, despite being raped, you know, being held at gunpoint, being kidnapped, being, you know, by the guys on the street, by the Johns.
Pause. Okay, so that's it right there. You can look this one up online right here. It's on the YouTube, right? Gorilla Pimps versus Romeo Pimps. But these are some serious points right here, man. You know, so I just wanted, so this one I'm going to put together this tab show and this tab flow for God's people. Yeah, what's up, God's people? This one's for you, man, because I'm going to put these words out there because these words, every man and every woman, right, you guys need to know what's up with these words. Ready? Okay, here we go. Remember when I started off, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, man? That's a fact, man. So God created the heaven and the earth, and he created the whole realm for man, woman, child to be in, man. Okay, so you have to remember that, right? You know, so every man and every woman, you have a duty and a responsibility to administer God's kingdom, man. That's a fact. All right, so check this out. Here we go. So we always want to start off with the order, right? You see the order right there? Order. God created the world. Check. God created man, aka people. Check. People created states. Check. People created constitutions. Check. People created governments. Check. Question. When did government become boss of the people? All right, so I'm building something right now, man, because this is serious right here, because I'm watching a lot of men and a lot of women not take care of God's kingdom, man. You know, that's just not cool. At least that's what the screen's showing me. That's what the screen's showing me. All right, let's keep it going. All right, so check out this word right here. Deputy, right? Deputy, right? Two words. A way to cut, strike, right? A way to cut, strike, right? Also, a way to think, right? A way to think. But see this right here? This is what most people think deputy is right here. Subordinate officer, right? So let's keep it going. Boom, doubt, right? Check out doubt. It's another 2-word word, right? Duo, two, right? Two, right? Minds, right? Doubt means two minds, right? Doubt means two minds, right? They have dread and then they have fear, right? But remember, when you're in doubt, that means you have two minds, man. Two minds, okay? Let's keep it going, right? Let's get into the great laws, man. Maxims right here. So check this out. A delegated power cannot be again delegated, right? A deputy, remember, a deputy cannot have or appoint a deputy, right? We showed you what's up with the deputy right now, right? Just remember that. A deputy, right? Let's just look at the deputy again, right? The deputy, right? Remember, subordinate officer, right? A way to think, right? A way to think, right? So the subordinate officer is a way to think, right? They're giving up something right there, right? That's what the deputy is, right? Let's keep it going. All right, so doubt. We like this maxim right here, 22Y. Look at this one here. In doubt, right? So if you have two minds, the milder or safer course is to be followed, right? So remember this. If you are in doubt, if you have two minds, right? The milder one or the safer course is to be followed, right? So always remember that. That is a maxim, man. That is a great law, right? All right, let's keep it going. Here we go. Boom. All right, you see what I have right there on the screen? I have sex, reassign, surgery, right? Because so I used to work in healthcare, and then we used to do surgeries all the time. And then this was a cool bit, right? Because you could take, like, the things that we were doing in surgery is that you could take parts of the human body, right? And then you can turn them into other things, man. It was so slick. It was so cool, right? See, check this out right here, right? So this one right here, this is the operating room. And then these are the drapes right here. And then these are the people doing the work, right? So that's the man. There's another one behind there. And then they're doing work on the human body because remember, that's what surgery means, hand work, all right? Let's keep it going. All right, so Plato's Cave, right? We're going to hang out in Plato's Cave because we're going to take a journey through Plato's Cave, right? Because we're going to show you what's up on the screen, man. We're going to show God's people what's up on the screen, and we're going to use the light to show you what's up on the screen because we want to bring you out of the cave and into the light, man. All right, so the way we're going to do that is with the civil grand jury, right? Remember this, right? The function, right? The function of the grand jury is to investigate the operations of the various officers, departments, and agencies of local government, man. All right, remember that. Oh, no, we didn't have let's get up our grand jury, man. We need our grand jury. Where's our grand jury? We want to see the pictures of the grand jury, right? We always want to see the pictures of the grand jury, right? Remember that? Here we go. Oh, no, he did it again. All right, remember that. You guys are going to hang out, right? Remember that. Hi, grand jury. What's up? You guys ready for some Saturday work? Look at this man looking so serious right here. He's like, oh, it's Saturday, bro. You're working on Saturday. Come on, man. Take some time off. No, bro, we got to do some work because we got to show you what's up with the words because we got to do some investigating. Okay, grand jury, let's go. Let's look at the words, man. All right, so check out mind, right? You remember what mind means? Mind means to think, right? So whenever you have a mind, you're thinking. Mind thinks, right? And then see where it says right here, that which feels, wills, and thinks, right? The mind is always men, and then men think, right? Remember that. All right, let's keep it going. Control, another 2-word word, right? Contra, right? See that? Contra, against. Rota, will. Right, so against the will. Remember that. When you control things, you're going against the will, right? You're using things, right? You're using your hand because remember C-O-N, right? C-O-N is also with, right? And then T-R-O-L, roll. I think if you trace this one down here, yeah, you get the rotary small wheel, right? So you're with the wheel, you're going to roll, man. You're going to control the wheel, right? That's just basically what's going on. It's a fun word, man. I like this one, right? So let's keep it going, right? Brain, right? Brain is another fun word, right? Look at this one, right? Soft grayish mass filling the cranial cavity of the vertebrae, right? But if you look right here, right, you get skull and then you get brain, right? The skull and the brain are the same, man. So what's in your head, right? You see this? Top of the head. So what's in your head, what's in your skull, we call that the brain, all right? Let's keep it going. Right, wash. Look at this one. Wash is fun because wash, if you track it down, it takes you to water, wet, right? But then when you get the water and the wet, you got to wash, right? But then wash means cleanse or bathe, right? It's really easy word, right? So when you use the water to cleanse or bathe, that's what you do with the wash, okay? Let's keep it going. All right, so we always want to start off right in the California Constitution or any constitution because you want to get your boundaries, right? And then you want to set up the authority before you walk, right? Preamble means before we walk. So check this out right here. We the people of the state of California, grateful to Almighty God. Yeah, what's up, God? Thanks for the shine. For our freedom in order to secure and perpetuate its blessings, do establish this Constitution, okay? Let's keep it going, right? Look at this one, right? So we're in Article 1, California Constitution, right? We scroll down to Section 6, right? Section 6. Look at this, what it says. Slavery is prohibited. Stop, right? You can't do slaves, right? Involuntary servitude is prohibited except to punish crime, okay? Remember that, man. These words meaning that is someone else controlling your body, right? We call that slavery, right? Because if they're controlling your mind, then they're going to be controlling your body, right? Because whatever goes in the mind, you can get the body to follow. Remember that, right? And then we call that slavery, right? If it's involuntary, right? Meaning if you're forced to do it, right? That's a no-no, right? We said, all the people said, no, you can't do that. You can't force people to make them do things with their body, right? That is a no-no, okay? Remember? All right, so check it out. Let's go. Check out this word right here. Hi, Cleveland Clinic. Let's look at your words right here. So check this out. This means gender affirmation or confirmation or sex reassign surgery, okay? That's a fun word, man, because look at what it says right here. Gender affirmation surgery refers to procedures that help people transition to their self-identified gender. Oh, okay, so with this procedure right here, you're going to help the people. It's a procedure, meaning surgery is work done by hand, right? Refers to procedures, right? That's steps and things that you do, right? That help people transition. Oh no, people transition to their self-identified gender, right? When did people get to identify themselves, right? Because I always thought that people right here were God's people, right? Because if you're walking around the realm as a man or as a woman, that means that you are in the temple of God, man. Scary, simple service, right? So now God's people are able to now transition themselves into whatever gender that they identify with, man. Wow, we live in amazing times. Isn't it fun? Look at this, right? So you can take God's temple now in this realm that we live in right now, right, according to the Cleveland Clinic, which is that's one of the public servants. They serve man, they serve women, right? So we can now take God's body and then we can transition God's body into whatever it is the self identifies with, man. That's cool. So let's look at some key words, okay? What is sex? Okay, let's look at sex. Sex is to divide or cut. Oh, okay, that's cool. So when you have sex, you have either males or females considered collectively as the sexes, but sex literally means section, to cut or divide. All right, let's keep it going. Transient, right? This is another two word, right? Transitory, right? See, trans means across or beyond, right? To go, right? So when you go across or beyond, right, you're going across or beyond. That's what happens when you transient or when you transition or when you move, right? So you're going across and you're going beyond something else, right? Whatever that is, I don't know, man. You got to go through that stuff. That's on you, right? That's why we like that word trans, right? Because it means across or beyond, right? And then you're going. So you're going across or beyond. All right, let's keep it going. Gender, right? Look at gender. Gender comes from gene, and gene means give birth or beget, right? So when you give birth or you beget, what are you doing? You're doing some kind, right? It's a sort or it's a class, right? It's a certain thing, right? You see what else it has? Race, stock, family, kind, rank, order, species, right? So a gender is all of these words right here, right? So gender means all of these words, but then ultimately it means give birth, right? Gene means give birth. That's why you have your DNA and your genes like that, because they give birth to something, right? So when you have a man and you have a woman, and then they go ahead and then they have what they would call sex, and then they get down with each other, right? So when one man hooks up with one woman, right, and then they come together, right, and then they procreate, right, then something's going to come out, and then that little something is going to be another people, right, or another little man or another little woman, right, whatever it is, they're giving birth to something, and then what they give birth to, that's God's property. Scary simple service, right? Remember that. So every man and every woman that's walking in this realm, you're the property of God. I'm sorry to let you guys know that, but that's a fact, man. All right, let's keep it going. Pimp, right? We like this one. Pimp is a fun word, man. Check this one out right here. Right? See this? Look, one who provides others with means and opportunity of gratifying their sexual lusts. That's a long definition for pimp, right? But look at French. Pimping, alluring in dress, seductive, right? Check it out. Old French, pipolore, decorate, color, beautify, right? So pimp means to beautify. Pimp means color. Pimp means decorate, right? You got it? Got it good. Okay, let's keep it moving. Prostitute, right? Another two-word word, right? Check it out. Pro means before, and stature, right? Stature means cause to stand. Remember? Established from sta, to stand or make firm, right? So before, to stand, to make firm, right? That's what a prostitute is, right? Before, stand, before, make, before, be firm, right? So that's what happens when you prostitute, right? But then everybody thinks about prostitute in these forms right here, right? To offer to indiscriminate sexual intercourse, right? It's way more than that. See, look at this. Place before, or in front of, right? So you're literally putting your body in place of, in front of something or someone for them to use your body, man. Scary simple service, right? Let's keep it going, right? Check this one out, right? Mental. Remember mental. See, men, you see M-E-N, right? Whenever you see M-E-N, you're always going to know that means mind and men think, right? Mind, men, think. Remember that. Whenever you see M-E-N, it doesn't mean man, like man, hey, that's a man. It means to think, right? That's why you have man are women and men, right? They're the same because they all think, okay? Remember that. Man, mind, think. Right, man, mind, think, right? Let's just remember that, right? It has nothing to do with gender or anything like that. It has everything to do with what you think, right? So how you think is the men. How you think is the mind, right? How you think is the mental, okay? Remember that. All right, let's keep it going. Health. Health is another fun word, right? Because look at what it means, to heal, right? From Old English, hale, whole, right? Remember that. Health, hale, whole, heal, that all means one, right? So whenever you're health, that means you're one. Whenever you're healthy, that means you're one, whole, uninjured, of good omen, right? But to heal means to make one. Remember that. Scary simple service, right? Let's keep it going, right? Remember, because the health has to be whole and the health has to be one, right? Also, the mind or the men has to be one and the men has to be whole, right? So let's keep this going. So we're building here. We're building, remember, dis, D-I-S, meaning lack of or not, right? D-I-S, opposite of, do the opposite of, right? Look at that. See, they have dishonest, right? So you're the opposite of honest, right? Discard, you're the opposite of card, right? Disallow, the opposite of allow, right? So check this out, right? Order, right? Order means to fit together, right? To fit together, order. Check this out, row, order, same, right? But it comes from ultimately to fit together, right? So if you are a disorder, that means you're opposite of fit together, opposite of order, right? Opposite of row, right? See, check this out. They're just so fun, right? You're the opposite of the position, right? So if you have a mental disorder, that means you're opposite thinking. your opposite thinking, right? You're not thinking whole. You're not thinking as one, okay? Got it, good. Let's go. Procure, right? I like this one. Procure, right? Pro meaning forward, forth, toward the front, right? So whenever you see PRO, that means you're in the front, right? See, check this out. Taking care of, right? Taking care of, right? Procure. In place of, right? In place of. Remember that, right? So check this out. Here goes the fun one. Cure, care, heed, right? Cure, care, heed, right? So something before, something in front of is taking care of, is heeding you, right? Remember that, okay? So check this out. Now we're going to get into some infogalactic, right? You know, we always want to look at the knowledge and see how these words are used. Look at this. Procuring, also known as prostitution, right? Check this out, right? We're just going to highlight and then just read it because it's simple now, right? Procuring or pandering is the facilitation or provision of a prostitute or sex worker in the arrangement of a sex act with a customer, right? You know, so basically what they're doing is that a man or a woman is putting another man or a woman in front of someone or another man or a woman, and then they're making an exchange, right? That's what's going on, right? So whenever you are procuring, right, doesn't always have to deal with sex, right? Remember that. Sex just means to cut or divide, right? So if you have an entity like a man who takes another entity called a man or a woman, and then they put them in front of another man or a woman, and then they say, hey, I'm going to make this man or a woman stand in front of you, and now they're going to exchange something for you, right? And then you give them something for that exchange, man. That's what a procurer does, right? Scary simple service, right? Check this out. Prostitution, right? Look at this one. Right? In front of, to stand. Remember that. In front of, to stand is the business or practice of engaging in activity in exchange for payment, right? Remember that. So if you stand in front of someone and then you're engaging in some type of business, right? And then you're exchanging your body for payment, right? We call that prostitution, right? It's not just sex. Remember that. It's not just sex. It has everything to do with what you're doing with your body, right? You know, so whatever you're doing with your body, right, and then you're putting your body in front of someone, and you're saying, I'm going to exchange my body for money, we call that prostitution. Remember that, right? Remember that. All right, let's keep it going. Mental health, right? Look at this one. Mental health is a level of psychological well-being or absence of a mental disorder, right? Remember, men means to think. Health means one or whole, right? So you have to think as one. You have to be one when you think, right? That means you have good mental health, right? If you don't have good mental health, that means you have a mental disorder, and disorder means not in order or opposite of order, right? Remember that, right? Remember that. So if you're going opposite of the order, of opposite of whatever God created for man, woman, child, right, then that means you have a mental disorder because you're not thinking as one, right? Remember that. Scary simple service. Okay, let's check it out. Let's keep going. Mental disorder. Look at this one. A mental disorder, also called a mental illness, a psychological disorder, or a psychiatric disorder, is a mental or behavioral pattern that causes either suffering or poor ability to function in ordinary life, right? You know, so if you can get a man or if you can get a woman to go opposite of whatever it is that they were meant to be, then that means that you're causing disorder. Okay, scary simple service. Let's keep it going, right? All right. Oh, look at this one, right? So this is what I'm going up on right here is the word, right? You know, because I'm doing this right here is because I'm going to show you why, right? You know, is because in the bit that I read, there was an example that I used. I used an example of how a story can get a man to not talk with his father for 17 years, right? You know, so this is personal, meaning this happened to me, right? You know, so I was told by a close member of the family that my father was doing very bad things to women in the family, right? And then I was like, wait, what? How is this happening, right? So because this being told me the story and I believed them, right, then I was like, all right, I'm cutting everybody out. I no longer wish to speak to father, right, because I will not speak with father because father is causing harm to the little people, right? You know, and then that happened for like 17 years, right? And then what happened was that I started to do some investigating, right? This is why I got the grand jury right here, right? Because I started to do some investigating, and I started to look at how things were operating, and I started to look at all the words, right? And then I started to see that the words weren't matching up and the stories weren't matching up. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? How is it that your story's not matching up and then their story's not matching up, and then you start to cross-reference all the stories and then they're not matching up? That was telling me someone was lying, right? Someone was lying because the words did not match, right? And then I was like, oh, okay, got it, good, right? Someone lied on you, and they took 17 years away from stories that we could have had together, right? Because we could have been hanging out, we could have been doing cool things together, right? But because of the story that I heard from a close family member was not true, it was a lie, right? I was like, whoa, I just cut them out, right? And then now I know that I always have to go to the source, right? I always have to go to the source, and I always have to find out what's up with the source, so then that way I can compare the words, right? And then I can see, are your words matching up, right? And that's why I love Matthew 6:24, right? Check this out. No man can serve two masters. That's a fact. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Remember, mammon means riches and mammon means gangs, right? Because check this image out right here. Where is it? Right, the image right here. So when you're in this realm right here, and then you are doing reassignments, and then you're taking the body that God gave you, and then you're now transitioning it into a different entity, right, that you were not born with, right? That means that you're serving another master, right? And then when you serve another master, then you've chosen, right? That's the game in this realm, man, is that you get to choose, because you have free will. So you get to choose, right? But then what we were having a problem with is that we didn't have God's people, right? So God's people, right? Hey, God's people, what's up? God's people were not speaking. God's people were being quiet, right? God's people were just walking around doing their own thing. They had their heads down, and then they were just being quiet, right? But now we no longer are quiet. We like to speak, man. We like to show, and we like to show the words, right? Because we had an experience where someone lied to us, right? Where someone told us a story, and then they took 17 years from us, right? And then we also heard another story where they told the people that they don't control their bodies, right? That they don't control their bodies, and they have to put something on their face, right? And then they have to put something in their bodies in order for them to earn a living, right? And then we found out what that was, right? We found out that they were talking about slavery, right? Then we found out that all the people were technically slaves because of how they called themselves, right? So whatever you call yourself, if you call yourself not the people, if you don't call yourself one of the people, if you don't call yourself a man, if you don't call yourself a woman, then that means that you are serving another master. Remember that. If you serve another master, then that means that you are in their control, right? You are no longer one of God's people, right? And then this is where you are right here, right? Ye cannot serve God and mammon, right? I serve God. I don't serve mammon, right? Mammon means rich game masters, right? Because my master is God, right? So if you have two masters, if you are in doubt and you don't know what you are, right? Because someone is filling your brain up with something else, then you will be despising the other, right? You will look at yourself in the mirror and you will not love yourself, and then you will wish to change yourself, man. And then that's just how it is for now on, man. So remember, whatever words go into your mind, right? Whatever words go into your mind, look at the people who are giving you those words and ask them, are you my master? Right? Because if they're not God, then they're not your master, right? That means they're mammon. That means there's something else, man, right? And you need to figure that out, seriously, or you're going to keep mutilating yourself, okay? All right, so check it out. Remember, right, if you ever forget who you are, just come to the Bible, look up Genesis, go to chapter 1, scroll down to 26, and God's going to tell you. And God said, let us make man in our image, right? Let us make men think in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, right? So man has dominion over God's property. Remember that, right? So God created man in his own image. let's reread that, right? So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he, him, male, and female created he, them, right? So if you need to look in the mirror and then you say, hey, am I a man or am I a woman, right? Then that means that you were created in the image of God, right? And you know that now, right? Because if you've heard my words, then you know what you are. Remember that, okay? Let's keep it going. I'm sorry I'm getting a little hot right now, but it's just because there's a lot of people out there chattering, and then they're telling all the other people all these wrong words, and then they're leading God's people away. And I don't like that, right? I don't like that. That's why we have to show you what's up with the words. Check out Psalms 82:6, man, right? I have said, who said I? Who said that? God said that. So big G is telling little g something right now. And little g, you need to listen, okay? Ye are God's, little g, and all of you are children of the Most High, right? So when you walk around there, and if you might be feeling sad, and if you might be feeling depressed or anything like that because you're like, I don't have anybody that loves me. God loves you. God walks with you all the time. God's the one that's carrying you, right? So that little voice that you're always hearing, right? Not the one that's whispering, do this bad, right? The one that's whispering that I love you, I care for you, I wish the best for you, I want you to be good, I want you to be happy, right? There's that little voice in your head that's telling you that. That's big G trying to speak to little g, man, right? But you always got to remember that there's going to be demons and there's going to be devils out there, and they're going to try to divide you. They're going to try to cut you. Remember that, okay? Just remember that. That's it. I'm done. I just had to get that out, man, because I had 17 years taken away from me, right? I had 17 years of an experience that I could have had with a bunch of other people because I listened to the words of another entity that was lying to me, right? They were telling me these things and they gave me doubt, right? They gave me doubt, and then I had two minds, right? And then I had to assemble my mind, and then I became one, and now I'm cool, man, because I walk with God, I serve God. Scary simple service, right? So let's close it out right now. Remember the order, right? The order of the realm is God created the world, check. God created man, aka the people, check. Remember, people created states, check. Remember, people created constitutions, check. Remember, people created governments, check. Question, when did government become boss of the people? Answer, never, right? Never. So if you ever have any other entity that's not God telling you that you should do something with your body, then you know that that's Mammon, right? That is Mammon, and they're not the boss over God's property, man. Remember that. Scary simple service, right? Let's check this out. Remember that. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, right? So God created everything that we walk on, everything that we see, the body that we live in, all of it, right? God created all of that, right? Not man, right? Man did not create that, right? So just remember that, man. So I'm done with this bit. Sorry I got a little hot. I'm just a little bit upset right now because they're trying to cause harm to God's people, and I don't like that because I love God's people. All right, well, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna chill, I'm gonna talk to you guys in the future. Remember, nobody's having more fun than us. Bye.